This is an instructional video on how to interview an expert or conduct a panel interview. First, split your groups into smaller groups, ideally 5. You have a producer, a presenter, 2 researchers, and a technical person. If you have less, participants can double job. For example, someone can be researcher and technical, or researcher and presenter. Everyone is involved in the research and production. There is no hierarchy. Every role is as important as the other. Every member of the production team is equal, but the producer must manage the team. First, decide on your guest. Make contact and arrange a time for the interview. In preparation for the interview, there are different types of research. Speaking with your interviewee or expert beforehand is referred to as primary research. You can find out more about the interviewee prior to the interview recording by asking broad questions that will allow you to know more about the subject and the expert. All other research is called secondary research. This is researching online, reading articles, looking at the news clippings, and on YouTube. In your groups, focus on the key points of the expert's research and how it relates to your needs for the interview or your panel discussion. Tip: sometimes it's worthwhile looking at the person's social media presence to get a clearer picture of the individual. This can facilitate a more intimate and engaging interview. Now it's time to construct your questions. You should always ask open-ended questions. This puts the onus on the interviewee. Try to avoid closed questions. These are questions that will prompt a one-word answer. Now it's time for the technical. You may have to use a room that's not ideal for your recording, so be aware of all the noises that may be picked up by the audio recorder. There are variations of audio recorders that you can use, and the better the setup, the better the audio. Depending on the recorder you're using, it might offer you the actual option for modifying the sound to enhance your audio recording. Before the interview or panel discussion, make sure you have the interviewee's correct title, pronouns, and how to correctly pronounce their names, and don't be afraid to ask. Before beginning your interview, you can ask a generic icebreaker question. This allows the technical person to check the mics, the recording levels, and puts the interviewer and the interviewees at ease. When beginning the interview, throughout it is very important to actively listen. Do use facial expressions instead of your voice. For example, it is better to nod using your head instead of saying, yes, that's very interesting. These all just sound bad in recordings. It is the producer's job to ensure that the allocated time for the interview is adhered to. Use visual cues to inform the presenter. For example, half time, 5 minutes, 2 minutes, and time to finish up. Always make sure to thank your guest by name for taking part in the interview. And when the interview is finished, stop and save the recording. Now you have all the tools to produce a panel discussion or to conduct an interview with an expert. And the most important thing is to have fun and enjoy the process.